Hello, this is Erica Salazar with Women in His Presence, and we've been bringing you a daily series every day of the week in March called Seeds of Rest. And today, my topic is going to be how rest brings refocus and also repurpose. So, give you just a little bit of background. I am in education, and we received yesterday the notification that we will not have school so far up until April 10th. So, definitely throws a wrench in my plans. I've actually had a lot of wrenches thrown in my plans lately. I got strep throat the Friday before spring break. I was supposed to go to Arizona. Didn't get to do that because I just didn't feel well enough to go. I know my parents were supposed to go on a cruise in April. That has been canceled, and it was kind of a dream cruise. My dad did it as a great surprise. I do a lot of the testing part of my campus as far as like small groups, and so my months have been planned out since January, exactly what I'm doing every week with specific dates and how everything kind of overlaps each other, and just have everything completely planned out. And now here I am at home. I don't have kids, so for me, there is such a thing as too much rest. It doesn't really go well for me. And even last week, I was getting moody because I was getting a little bit of stir crazy. So one of the things God has really been speaking to me is about how this resting time, because I'm not at work, can actually be used to refocus and repurpose. The refocus for me is definitely with the ministry, because one of the challenges I do have is God has always given me this idea of community women's ministry probably since I first came to the Lord over 10 years ago. And so there's been these little many trials with this. I've had different names and different things, and I've been able to lead women's ministry in some of my churches. And so it's all these little steps that have led us to Women in His Presence. And I thought that was going to happen in Kingsville, and it actually happened here. But during this time, it has been a little difficult to narrow down exactly the lane we're supposed to stay in. I feel like God's giving me a lot of ideas, and sometimes it can be overwhelming because you can't do all those ideas at once. And then it's also like, who's going to be the team? This isn't something that I can do on my own. And then just the challenge of working full time and trying to start up a ministry. And we're definitely going to be moving into another phase pretty soon, within the next 6 months. So it's really God's telling me, Erica, you can refocus and really spend some more quality time with me so I can tell you exactly what this needs to be and smooth out any gray. Like, I feel there's some constant things. It's definitely about women getting together. Women have to get together. The enemy likes for us to be alone. The other thing is we push the word. Bible reading is number one. It is the big game changer. One of the things I firmly believe is Bible over books. Christian books are great, but if you're not in the Bible first and you're just depending on reading Christian books, then you're missing a big part of hearing the message from God. So it's about getting into the Bible, how the Bible applies in life. You know, for myself, I'm so passionate about this because when God was with me in the most difficult times of my life, I mean, in my crushing moments, the Bible was there, and God pulled me up out of those. And there were so many. So it has just been my anchor, and I didn't always have that. And then it also gave me just a better idea of living a life of joy and peace. And I was awakened to the sin that I was doing and how that was actually slowly killing my spirit. And so when you don't have that personal relationship with Jesus Christ, it's kind of hard to understand, because you think like life is great, life is fine, but it's really not, and you don't realize the slow death that's actually happened to you in here and in here. And so I'm just really passionate about women reading the word independently. Like, Women in His Presence should not be your only source. In fact, what I would hope is maybe if you don't read the word a lot, then you're joining us, but then eventually one day you leave us. Like, you should be, you know, I even see that in myself, like things that I used to watch, like sermons I used to watch, I watch those things less because I'm just so dependent on me, God, and the Bible. And so that's our goal with Women in His Presence. And how do we do that? How do we foster that? How do we spread seeds? That's what we do with some of our little events. It's sowing seeds. Our Bible studies are equipping. So, and our social media is just trying to show how we're applying that in our lives. So God's really talked to me about refocusing. And then the second part is repurposing. So my time is normally used at work. And after work, I'm doing work stuff still. I try to fit in some time to work out. And I really felt lately like my ministry, because I'm in a new job, it's only my second year at this position, I'm at a new school. This Pasadena is still a newer district for me, so there's a lot to learn, just how different places work, how different people work. It's sometimes it's just learning the culture and the way people do things, which can be a big learning curve, and not so much how do you do your job. So for me, a lot of my energy is I'm in a learning curve, and I feel like my time with Women in His Presence has kind of been put on the back burner. And there's all these things God's wanting me to do, and I see doing them, and I'm passionate about it, but it's like they've been pushed to the side. So now during this time, I'll be able to repurpose my time and start checking off some of these things, like finish my application for seminary, start working on these Faith in 5 videos. Like, I'm gonna have time. My little sister, she's home. Like, we can start doing those things, start practicing putting my videos on camera and editing it on my computer versus me doing everything on my phone. So definitely showed me personally in my life how to repurpose. And so I want to just go through a few scriptures that say, that just kind of talk about that. So Proverbs 16:1, to humans belong the plans of the heart, but the Lord comes the proper answer of the tongue. So I may make all the plans here, but exactly what's going to happen, I got to be listening to God. It's going to come from His tongue. The second one, Proverbs 16:3, commit to the Lord whatever you do, and He will establish your plan. So if I focus on God, no matter how things might change and it may disrupt my normal day to day, He's going to be establishing my plans moving forward. And sometimes it's just this is making me refocus on God's in control of my life. Like, nobody could have ever predicted what's happening. I mean, this is so disruptive in our normal day to day. It's crazy how day to day is going to be so different. Was not expecting summer happening now, and in a sense that's kind of what it's like. All of a sudden it's June and I don't have anything to do, but I do. I just need to refocus and repurpose. The next one is Proverbs 16:9. In the hearts humans plan their course, but the Lord establishes their steps. So I love this because anytime you make a plan, it's literally just an idea. It is not in the concrete until anything happens. So we can establish all these plans, but things don't always go according to plan. And so I love when it says the Lord establishes the steps, because if you think of steps, they are one at a time. It doesn't say the Lord establishes the course, like it's just this whole lane, just go left. No, it's steps, which means we may be taking some steps this way and then this way, and there could be many reasons. I was just reading yesterday in Genesis about Abram and Lot and Sarai at that time, and what was his dad's name? And I was just kind of like mapping out where they were going, and what they were planning on doing originally is going to I believe Canaan, but they stopped in another place called Hammon maybe, but that wasn't their original plan. For some reason they stopped there. It doesn't say why, and then it says that they settled there. So it was interesting. And then I think it's Tefra, I don't know, starts with a T, I don't want to say it wrong. Once he dies, then they go on the course, but when you map it out, at some point he actually makes a circle and ends up back at a place he had already been and built an altar. So it's just really interesting that sometimes the plan may be to get to a certain end goal, but God still may have us take loops. He still may have us stop somewhere for a little while. It still isn't always, even though we see a straight line, it's not necessarily getting there. Is it His goal for us to walk there in a straight line? And we can definitely see that with the Israelites whenever they were in the desert. And then the last one, Proverbs 3:5-6. Trust in the Lord with all your heart. Lean not on your understanding. In all your ways acknowledge Him, and He shall direct your path. So again, we don't understand what's going on, but I mean, it really doesn't, I'm not afraid or anything like that. It's just like, okay, I have time that I did not anticipate on having. And I know God is good. I know He's under control. I feel like He's going to be doing some amazing things during this time with people and bringing them back to Christ. And, He's going to be directing my path, and I'm just going to really enjoy having so much more time to just lean into Him. I mean, I can't even go to campus and get things to work on. And the testing thing, again, what I was working on, am I going to need to be working on that anymore? It's so crazy. So that's what I want to leave you with today, is that, again, we planned this talking about rest, and now a lot of us are actually having probably more rest than what we need. And so I just want to encourage you to rest, but using that time to refocus on God and let Him show you how to repurpose your time and maybe even some of your plans. So y'all have a good afternoon. So see y'all later. Bye-bye.